Next, we will listen to a presentation by Nihon Fukushi University of the Philippines. Let's welcome them with a big hand.
Hello everyone. We are the team of NFU students and students from the University of Philippines. We are going to talk about the path to achieve global happiness. First of all, we will focus on gross national happiness or GNH of a nation. Please look at this graph. This graph compared Japan's GDP and GNH. According to GNH report, Japan's GNH is quite low among other developed countries. We wanted to know the reason behind this event. Elderly people often say that Japan's society was better than today's generation. Why do elderly people say that? One of the reasons is here. After World War II, Japan started reconstruction and they helped each other to build a peaceful and politically stable country, renouncing war. People united strength and effort to build such an ideal country. Everyone wrote dreams and high expectations for a new and happier lifestyle. The elderly people remember these days when people are working hard with a lot of dreams. However, the economic growth and advancement of technologies have another aspect. This makes the elderly people think those days were better than today.
Why do Japanese people feel happier in the past? In the past, Japan experienced economic growth, which led to modernization. People became very dependent with high technology. That's why people among communities to have little opportunity to communicate. While doing daily tasks like washing clothes at the riverside. We are wondering how Japan has changed. We thought of three primary reasons. The first reason is losing a sense of community among the people of Japan. Another reason is weakening family ties in Japan. Lastly, economic centrism. In the past, most of people of Japan believe that people who earn more are great people in the society. This belief resulted in loss of people's relationships with their community and even their own family. Next slide, please.
Based on our research, Bhutan is the happiest country. Research shows that 98% of the Bhutanese people answered that they feel happy now. Another factor is their belief in Buddhism. They believe that they should treat all living creatures with respect and dignity. Despite their slow economic progress, we wonder why they have such a high GNH. We found out that they prohibit the destruction of life. They treat others with respect and kindness, and so on. They think that your happiness is my happiness. Before, Bhutan was a closed country like Japan. But in 1990s, Bhutan opened their country, but with limitations. This is one way to protect their country from global competition. Bhutan was able to preserve and maintain community power to help each other, which Japanese has lost. If you are happy, I'm happy too. This is the Bhutanese spirit.
Once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just to give you a preview of our previous discussions, our group learned that economic growth does not always bring happiness to our nation. Our group also learned that Japan is one of those nations with low perception of happiness. But this condition of Japan contrasts with that of Bhutan, who despite their slow economic progress, has maintained their position to be the world's happiest country. Well, my friends, I think it's about time to look at the case of the Philippines. In the case of the Philippines, we were able to balance both economic growth and the level of happiness. In fact, according to the World Bank and other international financial institutions, Philippines shows good performance in terms of its economic growth. Well, I'm referring to gross domestic product increase and other indicators of economic growth. But whereas in terms of happiness, a survey conducted by the Gallup website shows that out of 148 countries, only two Asian countries, particularly Thailand and the Philippines, entered the top 10 happiest countries in the world. In contrary, Japan ranked only somewhere in the middle of the world's happiness level. Well, my friends, in a nutshell, there are many countries like Japan, United States, and other leading nations with relatively high standards of living and, well, stable economies, but they are not that happy. Well, as far as we are concerned, we the Filipinos are concerned, we are also experiencing poverty and hunger, but I know bit by bit, we are going to surpass all these negativities, all these trivialities in life because of our resiliency, strong faith, hope, love, and kindness to others. But above all, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that the secret ingredient of happiness is our collective action, or the working together. In general, our group has learned that the ingredients of happiness have 4 major components. First is economic development. Second is social development. Third is gender and development. And last is women empowerment.
One ingredient of happiness is economic development. By economic development, we mean that there should be a trickle-down effect. This means that if there is an economic growth, the growth must be felt by all citizens and not just for the chosen few. If the rich are eating, the poor must eat too. All people must have an access to basic social services like education, healthcare, transportation, and the like. In order to achieve this, countries should avoid neoliberal policies, which include 3 basic tenets, namely commercialization, privatization, and deregulation. Basically, this means that countries should avoid full ownership of basic social services like education, transportation, water, electricity by foreign companies. One remedy to this is national industrialization. We have to invest in our local economy. We have to give priority to our local products rather than those of the foreign ones.
All right. Alongside economic development is social development. When we talk about the social development, we talk about 2 major components. First is the improvement in the Human Development Index, or HDI. The other one would be in the fulfillment of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. But let me talk first about the fulfillment or improvement in the Human Development Index or HDI. When we talk about the Human Development Index or HDI, we are talking about the three major tenets or thrusts. First is the life expectancy or having longer lifespan. Second is literacy or the ability to read and write. And last one is sustainable income for every citizen to live. The other one would be the fulfillment of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. When we talk about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it asserts that every citizen, all of us here, he or she, not considering his or her religious affiliation, political affiliation, gender, identity, race, or ethnicity, he or she has inalienable rights and has inherent worth and dignity.
Next ingredient is gender and development. This involves non-discrimination of people regardless of his, her sexual preference and the identity. Also, it involves equal allocation of opportunity among men and women.
And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, women empowerment. Despite the age of modernization, women empowerment remains to be a struggle in many countries. Some societies still connect the word woman to words like weak, inferior, submissive, housewife to her husband, and mother to her children. But in order to achieve a genuine happiness, we should break these stereotypes among women. Nations should start recognizing the greater capacity of women to be partners in development and in nation building. We should provide more opportunities for them to grow and transform themselves into women deserving of honor and excellence.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the ingredients of happiness from the perspective of Japan and the Philippines. Economic development, social development, gender development, and women empowerment. If only nations would buy the recipe, we will be right on the path towards global happiness, probably not today. But in the coming years, from the future generation.
Once again, we are from Nihon Fukushi University.
And we are from the University of the Philippines.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your good presentation. And I'm very glad to give some comment to you because I love Philippines. My favorite country is one of my favorite countries. And by the way, your presentation was very good. Your attitude is very good. And you try to tell something. You try to let us know something. It's very excellent. Thank you very much.